Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we try to attempt to identify or forecast what could the bear market for Bitcoin look in 2026. None of the content is financial advice. Let's get started. Right now, the price of Bitcoin is at around $90,000. It did have a negative 2025 post having a rally. You can check it out on cryptoweeklies.com. All links available for free. All content. So compare this is Bitcoin in 2025. This green line over here from the yearly open. The price of Bitcoin is down about 4.5%. You can check it in terms of the yearly candles or 12-month candles over here on TradingView as well. You can see it's a red 2025 over here. Now the price is at around $90,300. The yearly open was at around 93k. The high was at one point at around 125k. The low for this year is at around over the last 12 months, that is it is at around 75k. That's the last 12 months for Bitcoin. If we go back to the weekly candles, you see a kind of a similarity between what happened in 2021 versus what is happening in 2025. Again, this area over here just towards the end of 2020 is similar to what happened in 2024. Again, stretched out version of what happened in 2020 versus 2024. When 2021 began, and the price of Bitcoin on Jan 1st 2021 was somewhere over here. The open for open for the year for Bitcoin was at around 94k for that week, and the highs were at around at that week was at 100 and 203k. So this was indeed similar to the first parabolic move that Bitcoin had in May 2021. March to April 2021 is similar to this zone over here. And then in terms of the dip that was occurred in somewhere in late May 2021, lasted till about late July 2021, is similar, arguably similar to the drop in early March, late February 2025, lasted till about mid to late April 2025. And then again a rally back to the other side with one brief test near the 20-week simple moving averages, like it had in September 2021, was arguably similar to the June 2025 rally. And then the final crescendo, albeit of a different size or different path, from November 2021, if you take a similarity from that to October 2025. And now the price has come close to the yellow line again, arguably close to that yellow line, similar in 2021 to now in 2025. That if the price of Bitcoin were to trade slightly below $80,000 at around 79,225, that could constitute a similar move that Bitcoin had in January 2022, which was a bear market year for Bitcoin. You can go and check over here. 2022 from the yearly open for Bitcoin was again down about 65% from the yearly open in 2022 itself, which again you could argue did start somewhere over here, week of Jan of 2022. Price of Bitcoin was close to 42,000. At the end of 2022, price was close to $15,000. So again, a 65% drop in that regard from the yearly open. But from this support range, the lows were only about 52%, or if you were to approximate it, 50% down from this area of support. This area of support was at around in 2025 is at around $80,000. And again, if you were to account for some diminishing volatility to the upside, and then follow that same consistent logic to the diminished volatility to the downside, price of Bitcoin could find support at the 0.618 at around 48k. If you compare from cycle to cycle, again, the comparison, the 15K level where the price of Bitcoin did find a support in 2022 was at around 0.786 in the prior cycle. That is in from 2017 rally till 2018 drop. If you look at the somewhere or zoom in it some to see it slightly better, the 0.786 was at around $16,000 from that Fibonacci level from 2017 high to 2018 low. The 0.786 was at around $16,200. The price did go slightly lower but did not come all the way to 618, which was at around $13,000. This time around the 0.786 would be, if you were to take those exact numbers, the 0.786 is at around $57,000. So this could be one favorable bottoming pattern for Bitcoin in 2026, whereas the end of the territory at 0.618 is at around 48,500, roughly speaking 49,000. So from cycle to cycle, if let's say in 2022 in that bear market the support was at a 0.618, slightly about 0.618, and this time around the dip goes to about 0.618 in 2026, that could be a way to identify what price could be somewhere close to 50K. If support is found at 0.786, then the price in the bear market for Bitcoin could be somewhere to 57K. So that is again using historical data points as an input and doing technical analysis. That's one way to predict the Bitcoin's bear market bottom. If that were to happen and let's say Bitcoin were to open 2026 at around roughly speaking 90K, which is the current price of BTC, closer to the current price of BTC at around here 90K. The drawdown in 2026 from that yearly open would be, again, if the price were to find support at around 57K, would be only 36% from the yearly open, negative 36%. On the other hand, if the price were to go all the way to about 49K, that 0.618, the drawdown would be at around 45% from the yearly open. Historically speaking, the ROI in the bear market years have gotten slightly better. In 2022, the last bear market, the ROI was negative 65%, but that was slightly better than 2018. 2018, the ROI was at one point it got as worse as about negative 75%, more than negative 75%. So arguing for slightly optimistic 2026, a 45% drawdown in 2026 from let's say the yearly open is close to 90K or slightly better than 90K. If that kind of rest of the December is slightly bullish for Bitcoin, and let's say we start from, instead of 90K, we start 2026 closer to 100K, then that changes the equation altogether. Then even a 50% drawdown from that yearly open in 2026 could still offer Bitcoin some sort of support at around 49K. So that's another possible trajectory for Bitcoin. Nonetheless, again, any personally speaking, any time price is closer enough to 50K, that's when I would seriously consider, again, not financial advice, consider DCA into Bitcoin. Again, from each cycle, that lucrative level for Bitcoin DCA can be understood by help of this linear regression model that we have on cryptoweeklies.com. Again, not financial advice. Whenever the risk for BTC, let's say this is using linear regression. Again, Bitcoin has been around for more than 10 years. We are taking data points from 2014. Now we are in 2025. So 11 years worth of price action. This is price color coded with respect to the regression based risk levels. Whenever the risk levels are, let's say, in warmer colors such as yellow, orange, or red, the price has heated, as opposed whenever the price are in cooler colors such as blue or purple or plum over here, price has, let's say, gotten close to that DCA lucrative zone. I'll just get rid of this price action and just the regression line and compare the price action with respect to the regression line, as this is a time adjusted and proportionally adjusted regression based risk levels. Per this model, the first major chunk of DCA for Bitcoin per this model was started in June 2022, when price of BTC again came crashing down over here in June, all the way from the distance between the price and the 50-week simple moving average was again more than 50%. Over there, the 50-week simple moving average was all the way at around 43,000, whereas the price came close to $20,000 level, even dipped below the 20,000 level at around $16,000-$17,000 in mid-December 2022. That was the first serious opportunity for DCA in the bear market, and that lasted from June 2022 till essentially to October 2023. In 2017 from the 2017 peak, the 2019 bear market offered only a handful number of weeks, where from December 2018 till March 2019, that was the area where DCA made the most amount of sense for the regression based risk levels. And again, then the later half was again due to the severe drawdown due to the area where the global markets were largely affected by the global pandemic. So at that point, again, the prices did come crashing down. But again, ignoring that, let's say 2026 is more similar to 2018, and the price of Bitcoin stays elevated above the regression based fair value for, let's say, majority of 2026, like it did in 2018 bear market. Again, the peak was in December 2017, but the price only in 2018, November of 2018, that's when the price came below the regression based fair value. If that kind of a bear market is ahead of us, again, in that environment, the serious dip buying opportunities could arise in Q4, even later in Q4 of 2018. Whereas if the bear market is similar to 2022, where the price stayed more than half the year, starting May 2022, below the regression based fair value, that would provide a wider opportunity or a longer opportunity to conduct again dip buying based on the risk levels. These models are updated every day to interact with the dynamic price action so that they stay more and more relevant. Again, if we lower the risk level to only 0.1, again, you could have missed the DC opportunity in December 2018. That could have had a loss of opportunity if we were to go even further down the risk levels. So keeping it at 0.2 has worked out personally decently for me. Looking for that in 2026 as well. Coming to the time weighted average price based estimation of what the eventual bottom would be, Bitcoin rarely spent again from bear market to bear market. The price has a higher deflection from the blue line, which is the time weighted average price. That means Bitcoin tends to bottom sooner than the drop to the time weighted average price. So the distance between the eventual market cycle bottom and the time weighted average price is increasing from cycle to cycle. In 2018, the price at the bottom was 3,200, whereas the time weighted average price was about 10% below at around 2,900. In 2022, the bottom was around 15,500. The time weighted average price was around 12,800. So in terms of percent, that was more than 10% distance. So let's say this time around, let's say 20% wiggle room between the eventual time weighted average price based price and the bottom. So this line again has a favorable bias to the upside. That is because the time weighted average price is only 26,000, whereas Bitcoin has spent almost about let's say this was the last time when the price was above below 26k was in March September 2023, October 2023. So now more than 2 years have been spent by Bitcoin in price action above the $26,000 level. At one point it was almost 6x of 5x of that $26,000 time weighted average price. So I see a massive upsurge in this time weighted average price extrapolation. If we were to extrapolate it in till middle of 2026, this time weighted average price could well be in higher 40,000 range to low $50,000 range based on how we get over there. But again, so that could also mean that the eventual bottom for Bitcoin in 2026 is closer to that midpoint of 40k and 50k. Coming to the machine learning based price forecast, this is the again weekly average price of Bitcoin since about September 2014. So more than 11 years of data fed to the machine learning model. Again, this is not prompt engineered. This is active machine learning based techniques such as seasonal ARMA, LSTM, and XGBoost, and standard deviation based confidence levels to identify what is a bear case for Bitcoin. The bear case in 2026, this is non-panic, or let's say a better manageable bear market is ahead of us in 2026. If in that kind of scenario, the bottom for Bitcoin till let's say halfway into 2026 is at around 74k, which is again coincides with that 2024 area where the price went the highs of 2024, where the price went and spent considerable amount of time at around $70,000 to $74,000 level. The panic case scenario for Bitcoin is, let's say if we get a more advanced or more pronounced bear market in 2026, where the market has a panic kind of event and the price comes crashing down in that in that reality. If that kind of bear market is ahead of us, the price could still find a support per this model in the next 6 months, somewhere between $50,000, $51,000 to $52,000 to, depending on how we get there. From for this week it's at around $82,000 midpoint. Let's say early March 2026 is at around 60k, and late May 2026 is at around 50k. So that again provides a strong degree area of confluence at around 50 to again as the range that we described, between 40k and 50k for Bitcoin. With that, I would like to conclude the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.